We now to the next speaker, Deputy Tony McLoughlin. You're sharing time, I understand, with Deputies Owen Murphy and Frankie Feehan.
Thank you very much indeed.
And you're taking it in slots of, you're dividing the slot into 5 minutes, 3 minutes and 2 minutes. Is that right?
That's right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Lance Cankura. And Era, I am glad to have the opportunity to speak on this issue of flooding and by extension the impact the recent storms have had on my constituency. And first of all, I'd like to acknowledge the wonderful works done by the emergency services throughout the length and breadth of this country. It is estimated that this island has in excess of 3,100 kilometres of shoreline, which is by our landmass size very long indeed. County Sligo has a very exposed coastline stretching from Inniscrone in the south east of to Mullaghmore in the north, and I estimate that to comprise in length of over 150 kilometres of exposure to the wild Atlantic. It is estimated that this storm is the worst to hit Sligo since 1986, and the damage has, like many other counties, taken its with it roads, beaches, bridge, pathways and piers. And the recent storm, known as Storm Bridget, hit West Sligo very severely, and it has been described recently as the worst damage to hit the Ochris Peninsula in living memory. The combination of low pressure, high tides, southwesterly winds and the storm surge has caused the maximum damage. And this damage not only impacts on the people who have in many cases lost access to their homes, but also to their livelihood, as many of the coast-lying agricultural lands have been destroyed by stones and salt water. And Sligo is a county very dependent on tourism, and I am glad to report to the House that 2013 was an excellent year for this sector, especially those located at our coastal resorts such as Ross's Point, Strandhill, Mullaghmore and various other ones. And in 2011, major damage was done to the sand dunes at Strandhill below the promenade and in front of the famous golf club. Funding of 300,000 was provided by Minister Brian Hayes through the OPW to Sligo County Council, with works completed recently. The Minister recently visited the location of the works, and it was clear from the work done he has very, very well protected the coastline here from any further damage despite recent storms. And on his visit to Sligo, the Minister also viewed the damage done to the famous Ross's Point beach, which in turn impacts on County Sligo Golf Club. Since Minister Hayes' visit, even further damage has taken place, and this popular beach during the summer months is now not accessible, and there is deep concern that this will impact on the 2014 tourism season for the part of County Sligo. I know the Minister and his officials are currently considering a cost submission from Sligo County Council on proposals to develop coastal defences at Ross's Point and ensure the beach is accessible for users next summer, and I do hope that some assistance can be provided. The devastation done by flooding in this is the stuff of nightmares for citizens that wake up to find themselves immersed in water, sometimes with water emerging from storm water and sewer drains. And I know that this will be the government's priority. However, I think we have to address the issue of the impact of coastal erosion, and I ask the Minister considering aid to ensure adequate money is allocated to the victims of storm and coastal erosion, especially at Rathlee, Inniscrone, Ross's Point, Mullaghmore and Strandhill, and also around villages depending on tourism. And I am conscious that there is a huge pressure on exchequer finances and the budget is limited. But we cannot allow the progress made by this government and the tourism industry over the last 3 years in boosting our visitor numbers and increased revenue to be halted because we did not respond to the damage done to our coastal infrastructure and our tourist amenities. And to conclude, I wish to thank sincerely Minister Brian Hayes for his support for County Sligo to date, and I urge him and his fellow ministers to look at every angle possible in a bid to support our communities battered by the wild Atlantic over the last 2 months. And I also think that that there are a number of other ministers, and I would hope that certainly with the allocation of monies through the Department of the Environment very, very shortly, that additional works can be carried out by the local authorities, Sligo County Council, and indeed as a matter of urgency, because also I think that I welcome the money allocated last week by the Minister for Agriculture and the Marine, Minister Simon Coveney, in relation to a number of areas in both in Mulletmore and Enniscrone where money has already been allocated.